What is it?
Pasta Primo from Bozeman.
Local sports on Jacksonville Sports Station 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes, is presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products on 1010XL. Now your hosts,
Lauren Brooks,
Donna Murphy, and Blythe Plumley.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome into Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Heyo.
On a lovely Tuesday evening. As baseball goes on in the city tomorrow night, a little women's hoops. We're going to talk to both Coach Yo and Coach Gibbs from UNF, Coach Yo from JU. Both programs going to be looking to try and make it into the championship game against either Florida Gulf Coast or Lipscomb. But first, we're going to talk a little Jaguars. Any surprise today that Allen Robinson was not franchise or transition tagged?
No.
Which, by the way, does everyone know what everyone knows the franchise? Does everyone know the transition tag means?
What is a transition tag?
So basically, you have until July 15th to negotiate. You have an extended period of time in order to work on the extension. So it helps in order for teams like, I know the Bears transition tagged cornerback Kyle Fuller, just helps them get through their negotiations. I guess they weren't close enough at this point in time. But yeah, any surprise on the fact that A-Rob didn't get a franchise tag, making him worth $16 million this year?
I'm not, for the fact of two reasons. One, he's coming off injury, so maybe they know more than we do, or maybe they're in the dark. We're not going to gamble $16 million on someone who's coming off an injury. And two, he is the one that started the dissension, it appeared, between Bortles and the team 2 years ago. So maybe that's put into account of everything, and they like how the team chemistry is now. And like we talked about Jarvis Landry last week, yeah, he signed the tag, but he's willing to be shopped. So maybe he will arrive here. You don't know, but there's other players out there. So I'm not surprised one bit.
It's a simple case of, with wide receivers in general, the nature of that position is that they're very diva-like. And this is a player that has been a star player for this franchise, and he wasn't around last year when this team sort of came together and felt this incredible chemistry that was palpable. And the team actually started to rally around Blake Bortles, and he's never really had the best chemistry with Bortles. You saw that in some of the training camp last year. But I think this is more of a case. I don't know that it's less of a case that the Jaguars are wanting to play. I think they know how important Allen Robinson is, but with him in particular, I think he wants to test the free agency market and let him test it. Let him go. I personally would not want to hamstring our future of being able to sign guys like Miles Jack and Jalen Ramsey and Yannick Ngakoue in a couple years because of a wide receiver. We were that close to a Super Bowl, so I think that we can go and find cheap, affordable talent in the draft, like what Coughlin and Dave Caldwell proved last year.
So you think that they can replace Allen Robinson's talent with someone that they can get as a rookie?
I mean, that's the nature of the NFL. You're always wanting to get younger and cheaper. That's just the nature of the league. And this is a situation where I think that they're going to pay other positions that are much more important to this team in the future versus a wide receiver who doesn't really play a large factor in the grand scheme of things.
I think it'll be crazy if Allen Robinson's not on this team next year with the skill set that he has that no one else on this team has. And you can look around at the rookies, but I just don't know that you're going to get someone who has just the unique nature that A-Rob has. And they might be able to get a really good rookie, but a rookie is so different than a guy who's played in this league for 4 years. Now, granted, last year only got to play in one game, but certainly had a phenomenal training camp. The one question that I keep coming back to is, do I trust the management that is in place for the Jaguars? And so far, it seems like they've made all of the right decisions, and it did get the team to almost beat the Patriots last year. But you have to get better if you expect to win. It's not like the Jaguars were 3 minutes away from winning the Super Bowl with Allen Robinson. They were 3 minutes away from going to the Super Bowl without him. And we talked about it on the show a little bit earlier, is if A-Rob was there, would the Jaguars have beaten teams like the Jets, like the Cardinals? I tend to think yes. So then could the Jaguars have ended up with home field advantage? Does that game go differently against the Patriots? You feel like the defenses that you face would have played you a lot differently if they had to game plan to go up against him. They might have to double team him, and so other guys might have been open more. To me, it's crazy, but at the same time, I have to trust them. So I'm kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. I'm going to be upset if he's not on this team, but I also will trust that they know more than I do.
Well, I think it's a case where we put a lot of the winning on because of the defense last year. And with a couple of those games, the Arizona game, even the Patriots game, those are games that the defense should have won for us, and they couldn't hold the lead in either of those two games. And I don't know that Allen Robinson would make that much. Obviously, he would make a little bit of a difference, but out of the past 15 Super Bowl champions, going back to 2002, there's 0 wide receivers on those squads who were paid a top 5 base salary in the league. So I think that the nature of the position is more glorified in the media than it sort of results in the stats column in the wins and losses.
I was going to say, wait, Randy Moss wasn't? Oh, but never mind. He was with New England, and they never pay anybody. So, yeah, I get that.
Well, I know
that's a pretty incredible stat.
Made a good amount last year. He must not have been in the top five. But yeah, so, you can get really valuable guys at that position. All right, switching to quarterback, the guy who's actually going to be throwing the football to these guys. Blake Bortles obviously was re-signed, but now what do the Jaguars do about the backup quarterback position? If I told you you could have one of these guys as far as a veteran backup, which one would you want? Teddy Bridgewater, Josh McCown, Mike Glennon, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then the 2 Dolphins discards, Matt Moore and Jay Cutler. Because those are your options, because at this point it looks like the Jaguars are certainly not going to pay the Kirk Cousins, the Case Keenums, the A.J. McCarrons, who wants to be a starter, and the Sam Bradfords. And Teddy Bridgewater really might be in the latter category, but I'll throw him in as a possible option. Who you got?
It's Teddy Bridgewater for me, clear as day. He's a guy that's coming off injury. He wants to prove himself. He wants to play for a new contract. He's going to be that guy that's going to push Blake, but not in an aggressive way, I guess you could say. He's going to push. He's a team-first guy, but he wants to be a starter in the league, and he said that he will pay or he will play for a minimal amount of money. And so with him in particular, I think that he's going to be a really good training camp guy, a really good preseason guy that's going to push Blake, because everybody needs competition in sports in general. Like, competition helps fuel your fire, and that's one thing that Blake hasn't had. He's had Chad Henne, who's just, he's a great backup because he doesn't want to be the starter, but he's also not going to push Blake to reach a level that he doesn't even know that he can reach yet until he has that competition.
I would want to say, I would want to agree with you with Teddy, but I mean, if we're looking for kind of a veteran backup, is that what we're looking for? I wouldn't consider Teddy that one.
No,
Plus,
he's definitely
coming off
not
an
a
injury,
veteran.
so you never know. So you're iffy with that one. I would, out of all of those, I would have to pick Fitzpatrick, just for the fact of you've kind of see some good out of him. It hasn't been the crap fest that all the others have put together, so I think that's the one guy out of all of them that I would probably pick.
I think I'd go Josh McCown just because he beat with the Jets last year, and they weren't a great team.
See,
they beat the Jaguars.
I'm biased with him because I just can't look at his face. So,
well, is
no.
he under a helmet? But the one negative, I mean, they all have negatives, but the one drawback for sure for McCown is he's 39 years old. Now, granted, there are guys that are playing at the top of their game in the league.
How old is Fitzpatrick?
He's got to be close to that,
like 47 or something.
I don't think.
I feel like that's how old he looks.
I don't think he's quite that old. Which one of those guys would you want there, Tyler? Ryan Fitzpatrick is 35.
Ryan Fitzpatrick or who else?
No, yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Josh McCown, Bridgewater, Fitzpatrick, Glennon, Moore, Cutler.
I will go with the guy who did not throw 6 interceptions in a game, so let's rule off Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'll go with Teddy Bridgewater. Buy low. It was a guy who drafted in the first round with a catastrophic leg injury, so I'd probably go with him. Athletic, can run around. I'd probably go with him.
The leg injury doesn't scare you off?
No.
That one does worry me, just because, right after it happened, there were talks that he may never be able to play again, and obviously he's been able to recover, but it was that severe of an injury. I don't know anything about medicine, but it just seems like somebody who had to go through that kind of recovery process is, going to have potentially more likely of an either a reoccurrence or some other injury that's affected by what happened before. But again,
what was it, an ACL?
And he completely tore everything in that.
I think it was an ACL, an MCL.
I just remember the hush that supposedly went over at practice when it happened. All right,
I heard people got sick too on the field.
Yeah, it was gruesome. UCF linebacker Shaquem Griffin was the star of the NFL Combine. He only has one hand, yet thanks to a prosthetic, he was able to bench press 225 pounds 20 times. His goal was 6 times. He blew that out of the water. He also ran a 4.38. So he, while undersized, is a guy that's now climbing the draft boards. Would you draft him even though he only has one hand?
Heck yeah. He hasn't proven that he can't do anything without the hand. He's just proven that he's that more of a beast, and he has so much more heart than probably, I would say, 70% of the players there at the combine.
And he's the opposite of entitled, obviously.
Right.
It depends on when. He is going to be a little bit limited, obviously, with his position. But I was listening to Louis Riddick, or ESPN's Louis Riddick, when he was talking about him earlier. He said he's likely going to play in a hybrid back system on the left side because of his hand. But I also think that there is, outside of his skill set on the field, because obviously he was very impressive at the combine, but I think that there's something to be said about somebody that can overcome a disability like that and be that vocal leader in a locker room. But with that said, I probably wouldn't draft him in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, and he probably won't go there. Like you mentioned, Riddick said that he's hybrid. He's hybrid because of that size. Telvin Smith is a bigger guy than he is, and Telvin Smith was supposedly undersized as a linebacker. You know, undersized is, of course, looking at their height and weight. To me, it's how you play. It's how violent you are, how physical you are. That really speaks to your size. But he is faster than Telvin Smith. That part was impressive. I just love his story. Mm-hmm. He was born with this deformity, and at the age of 4, it hurt so bad. He did have part of his hand, but it hurt so bad that he begged his mother to have the hand amputated. Can you imagine at 4 knowing that that is the path that you want to take, and then to be able to go into just this huge stage? First of all, he wasn't even originally invited to the combine, had to get the invite, and then to go out there and to prove not to prove the doubters wrong, but to just show out that much, to just be that incredible. I love rooting for guys like that play with such a passion, and that also are showing people who may have the same disability or other disabilities that you absolutely can do all these things that you watch the guys on TV. I mean, we've seen basketball players without one hand. I think that part's incredible.
Lewis also said that he would probably be a really great special teams player because he's so fast. He had that 40 speed that was incredible, and then he also is a really hard hitter. So with his speed and with his hitting abilities, he's probably going to make up for a great special teams player. But as great of a story it is, you got to draft for value, and I just don't. It has to be a value pick instead of inspirational stories. As great as they are, they don't get W's.
Well, and he was asked about that. A lot of people say you're a special teams player, and you could tell that he took kind of offense to that. Like, I think he's like, I've played in so many different positions, starting both safety, linebacker, inside and out, and so he's like, I absolutely deserve a spot on the field, and I'll work hard to prove it. So,
well, if he plays well enough, he will. Yeah, he'll get it. And
I absolutely love the attitude. All right, more on the combine and a whole lot more. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Be part of one of the most iconic competitions.
I was about to say Animals in Bed, and I was like, people
We'll
want
do your
to
live next break.
Okay, sounds good, thanks. I just realized Brent, actually, I may need to push it back, Tyler, sorry. Brent never got back to me with what I'm doing.
Welcome in, guys.
Not that he never got back to me.
Bridgewater dislocated his knee, tore his ACL, and other structural damage.
The dislocation of the knee was the part that I think people were so freaked out about, because that means your leg is going into.
He almost lost his leg, I thought.
I know the other guy recently did, that tight end. Kyle, what's his face?
Yeah, I forget.
The Saints guy, right? Was it Saints? I think it was. Where it happened in
Reason number 67 to choose Global Diamonds over any other Jacksonville jeweler. Global Diamonds is the only jeweler in Jacksonville with offices inside the World Diamond Exchange in Tel Aviv. Any jeweler can claim to be a direct importer or have so-called partnerships overseas, but the owners of Global Diamonds have special access that others.
That'd be great for A-Rod to end up in San Fran.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm him, I'm testing free agency for sure. You only have a couple times in your career to be able to go out and see how much you're worth.
Don't go to Baltimore. Just don't go to Baltimore.
I mean, clearly he wants to get paid.
That's
what he's going to value more than anything.
Right. I would say Carolina. Maybe the Bears. I think the Niners would be a great spot for him.
Yeah, because they don't have a number 1 wide receiver, do they?
The Niners have, Marquise Goodwin.
Lewis Murphy.
Yeah. They got up and they're trying to develop some.
That's what I said on our show. I was like, I would go to the
San Fran.
49ers because
Uh-huh.
you're automatically the best wide receiver and you've got a better quarterback.
Yeah. Who, get this, knows how to throw a ball. So,
Pasta, not fries.
what am I eating?
Yeah. They said yum fries.
Nope. Yum
Well, they
pasta.
do kind of look like fries except with what, marinara on them?
Jason's Deli.
Spring is almost here, so it's time to update your company swag. Let Hardball
And Bruins on the TV.
Hardball Creative can
All
put
works
your
out.
company logo on anything. Online at hardballcreative.com.
If your insurance company let you down after Hurricane Irma, maybe you should be using Southern Oak.
Bruins already up to
One
nothing.
of the highest
That was fast.
in the industry.
My goodness.
Agent at Southern
Mhm.
Oak.
Watch out.
Sports.
I forgot how fast I have to eat in these.
Breaks.
Yeah.
I'm Jeff Burkhoff.
I've gotten accustomed to my hour off.
Bill Pappas and Kim Remley want to make
Like
sure
one of
that
those.
So you don't get it
mortgages.
I
because
have been
Frank's not
getting
here?
it. Yeah, I just didn't do
Okay.
it because I felt bad for them doing 4 hours with only 2 people.
About our clients and their mortgage. That's
So
it. That's wrong with it.
normally, yes.
Sure they'd be
I just-
fine.
What are they going to do about that show in a couple weeks?
For example,
I don't know.
95% jumbo loans.
Because he asked me if I could do Monday. I said, no, I'm leaving early Sunday morning. I won't be back till Wednesday.
Innovation repair
Shot
loans, investment
emailed me and said, give me time to think about it. I'll bring Steven on it.
and we waive all
So,
our lender fees for all military.
which I figured he would want to do. I just figured the easiest thing was no show. Because I can't do Monday because we're on until 7 and then we leave immediately following.
Hey guys,
That's not
if
the
you're
same
just tuning
week as,
in, we are live
the game,
every
right?
Tuesday night, usually 7 to 9 p.m. I got to scoot out of here a little early tonight, so we're only going to be live
We
until
got you.
8:12 p.m.
The
But
27th.
still got a really good show for you guys.
Oh, man.
Apparently there's no defense in this one.
Apparently.
You've been to a Bruins game live, right?
Mm-mm.
You haven't. Okay,
We
so
never
that's got to be
went.
on a bucket list.
Yeah. We never went.
I've been to one hockey game live. It was the Lightning. And I had a freaking, I was up in the rafters and I had a blast. But I didn't care that much about what was going on in the game.
Back
I
here
was
at 30.
just drinking.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tyler.
I'm gonna keep eating until you ask me a question.
Do you have any weird cravings yet?
No.
That's what
Healthy.
I'm fascinated by the most.
Healthy. I
Healthy
mean this.
food?
I mean, can't really consider this healthy, but like oats and grains, like granola bars and mini wheats and strawberries. This is more for because I want it. I don't care if it wants it. I want it.
It. Said child. Oh, I've got drinks on drinks on drinks and stuff.
Jaguars football by women, for women, and men. Helmets and heels. Built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
On 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
Welcome into Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. My name is Blythe Brimley, and I'm joined alongside Donna Murphy and Lauren Brooks. And if you caught the Oscars the other night, you might have noticed that Kobe Bryant, former Lakers star and a Hall of Famer, won an Oscar for his documentary Dear Basketball.
And the Oscar goes to, don't say La La Land, don't say La La Land. Dear Basketball, Glenn King and Kobe!
Now, in that acceptance speech, he mentioned the comments made a couple weeks ago by a Fox News broadcaster that said that athletes should just shut up and dribble, and Kobe referenced that in his acceptance speech in reference to LeBron James and his sort of off-the-court initiatives. And first off, I wanted to see, did you guys actually watch the Dear Basketball, his little 5-minute short video?
Nope. Didn't even know he did one until the Oscar nominations came out.
Tyler, did you watch it? You're the NBA guy.
No, I honestly could not care less about Kobe Bryant.
Well, I watched it. It was only 5 minutes. It was actually really, really well done. John Williams, who's the famous conductor, I guess, or music, I don't know what you call him, conductor, music writer for films like Star Wars. Yeah, composer. For Star Wars, for Indiana Jones. He was the composer of the musical score in it. And he had a couple really good quotes that talked about, saying goodbye to the sport that he's grown up playing for his entire life. One of the quotes that I pulled from is that my heart can take the pounding, my mind can take the grind, but my body knows when it's time to say goodbye, and that's okay. And I think a lot of basketball fans, except for Tyler, actually liked the video and appreciated it, but it's sort of bringing it back to the shut up and dribble comments. I was watching or listening to a podcast recently, Arian Foster, former NFL player, and he had Maverick Carter on. And Maverick Carter is the CEO of, is it called The Undefeated? I think it's called. I believe it's called The Undefeated. Anyways, he's CEO of The Undefeated, and it's a new company that allows athletes to take advantage of their brand outside of sports, sort of teaches them how to be a CEO of their own brand, aka their own company. And so, with all that said, do you think that guys like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, that they should be more vocal about their projects outside of the sport that they play in, or should they just, are you the stick to sports crowd?
No, I'm all for it. You have a platform, you have a voice, you have the ability to be heard. And I know that with Prosser and Hicken in the morning, they could care less about the Oscars, and they always rant and rave about, this isn't the place to go on politics and don't, but it is. It's you're being seen, you're being heard. Say what you feel, say what you mean. And so I was proud of him for saying that. That was actually him basically sticking up for LeBron too, without saying that he was. So I approved of it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think you have to be careful. At times, you absolutely have a platform, but at times if you're going to get on a soapbox about something that you may not actually be passionate about, but it's more kind of the trendy thing to do, that's where I don't necessarily think that's the right path. You have to be very informed and certainly devoted to whatever, I guess, social cause, whatever path you take. To me, you have to have a complete and total obsession about it. And I think it's hard to have both a complete and total obsession about your sport and also things off the field or off the court. You absolutely can, and there are people who do, but I think oftentimes the message can get watered down because people who aren't really all that passionate are using the platform that they have, and they're saying things that they may not necessarily know all that much about. Now, politics is a great example. I don't know how many professional athletes are spending hours every day reading about what certain countries should do or what our country should do about certain things. I'm not saying that none of them do, but I think that's where it can get tricky, is because there are people who that is what they do full-time every single day, and if you get into the argument with those people, you can come out looking like you didn't do your research, and they come out looking like the winner, even though you may have been trying to support a great cause. Does all that make sense? Am I saying that?
Yeah, I get it.
But I think with a lot of these guys too is the media itself is increasingly asking more questions of these guys, because the stick to sports crowd, and I get that. There are times when I just want to sit down and I just want to watch a game. I don't want to care. I don't want to know about your opinion about anything else besides the game that I'm watching. But outside of that, I absolutely think that these guys should be the CEO of their own brand, that they should be able to talk about freely whatever they want, whatever causes are important to them, and not just causes, but our artistic creations. The Dear Basketball documentary was an artistic creation by Kobe, directed by him, produced by him, and I thought it was really well done. I don't know that I did hear some comments that it didn't deserve to win against the other documentaries that were featured in there, but I don't watch anything from I don't even care about the Oscars one way or another. I just thought that Kobe's speech, or his acceptance speech, was pretty spot on. It was timely. It was funny. But then outside of that, I think that the media is increasingly asking more of these guys to know about more politics, and so they're getting put in a position where they want to I don't know that they want to talk about it, but they're being asked about it.
Well, I think there's a complete difference to me between the CEO of your own brand and the artistic side, whether you want to make a rap album or, you know, do one of these documentaries, versus talking about politics or religion or whatever it is. So that's where I want to make sure that the people are putting themselves, the athletes are putting themselves in the best possible scenario. If a reporter asks them a question that is unsolicited about something that they're not comfortable discussing, then they should be able to do what Tom Brady usually does, and that's I'm not going to talk on that, no comment, regardless of, you know, what's going on around him. He's able to just say, I'm not going to discuss that. And then I think when you're these guys or females with all these, you know, followings that you have on social media, you still have that platform. It doesn't necessarily have to be with the ESPN reporter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder why it's only athletes that are told to just go play their sport. Like Hollywood actresses, musicians, things like that. Like all of these people are allowed to have their own free opinion and be able to discuss anything, and no one tells them, well, just go write some songs.
I think Hollywood, I'm trying to remember what they... all of Hollywood got all up in arms about something, and most of America was like, are you kidding me? You don't know what real life is like. I forget what the subject matter was that was being debated about, but I remember most people being like, Hollywood just needs to go and stay in their own little world. But musicians, that's where their entire craft, they get to be as creative as they want and political as they want, and they just tell their message through songs, which I feel like people react to differently than somebody tweeting something out.
Well, it just seems to me that it's only athletes, that it's the only profession that they're not allowed to have an opinion anywhere else outside of sports. Any other profession, even ours, if we don't know anything about politics, there are times when we'll talk about it, and I'm not well versed in a lot of different subjects. I like to think that I'm a casual follower of a lot of different topics, but to be considered an expert in those topics in order to speak on it, I'm going to speak on what I know, but I think that there's a lot of people, for some reason, it only seems like athletes are the ones that are told to just stick to your profession.
That's because they get the dumb jocks.
Well, that, and also people turn to sports to escape that stuff.
What about movies and music? That too?
Well, yeah, but I mean, if I'm right now watching this Bruins game, and
it's already tied up.
I know, it's already tied up. And all of a sudden, you know, after the first period, you know, whoever gets interviewed, they go on a platform and start talking about politics. I'm like, that's not why I'm watching this. I just want to watch this. That's how I feel. You know, when a lot of the stuff broke, it's like can we just watch the game? Can I just enjoy the game? I don't have to hear anything. I don't have to watch the post game. I don't have to watch the pregame. I just want to watch the game. Just watch the game.
And that's where to me at least, I choose at least the people that I follow on social media. So I don't watch any of the opinion shows on ESPN or any of the other networks. I just watch the actual game. And so I don't follow anybody who, like a Jamel Hill, which she's a bright person, but she is focused on something that I'm not necessarily focused on. So I'm not going to follow someone where I'm going to have to read their thoughts on a certain subject. Whether I agree with them or not, truth be told, just all I want is the sports news. So being able to watch just the games or being able to go to just a movie and sit in there, you don't then have to hear the actor or actress's point of view on something unless you're choosing and seeking it out.
Or watching a movie that's about that.
I don't know that it ever happens, though, as far as sports is concerned, within the middle of a game. It'll happen pre-game, it'll happen post-game.
The only time it did was obviously the kneeling. Well, that was everything, and
technically before the game,
right? And that set everybody off. So.
But the NBA, they talk before and after games all the time. They comment all the time. They don't have there's only
that's what I'm saying. That's the only thing that I think people, I don't know, maybe they're like, look, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I just want to watch the game and enjoy it.
Right.
So that's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, I get both sides of it. I love the stick to sports crowd that says, you know, politics don't belong in sports and all that and yada yada yada. Even though that politics has always been involved in sports in one way or another. But going from one, I guess, sort of a little bit of a heated debate to another, probably the most passionate debate I'm going to have all night, and it's: are you for or against animals sleeping in the bed?
All right, so here's our story. So TJ and I used to have a queen bed when we had one dog, and then Olive came along. We had two dogs, and there's too many. So we specifically bought a king-size bed so the dogs could be comfortable. And unlike Hayes and Martineau, I'd never let the child sleep in bed. Never.
Okay.
Never want the child in bed. Because then you have him in bed every night.
So you go to him if he's scared in the middle of the night?
No. We got a little $20 small little bed that fits on the floor. Go lay on that.
What
You're
about
not
the
sleeping
dogs?
on our bed.
They probably want to sleep in the bed every night now.
Yeah, they sleep in the bed every night.
That's why she got the king size bed.
Yeah, that's
why
why we
is
got
it
the king
different
size
from the
bed.
kid though?
Because I don't want the kid in bed kicking me and left and right and rolling and
A
thinking
dog doesn't do that?
Mm-mm. Nope.
What about the dog farts?
Or
Well,
licking
you're
his
used-
balls
I
or
mean,
something?
that's a good
You're used to
question.
those. And our male dog doesn't have those anymore because he's fixed.
But then isn't
Thank
he
you.
like
Dog
licking
farts?
himself
Isn't it dog
and...
Oh, you don't have a dog. That's so funny.
No, I did have a dog and he was never allowed to sleep in the bed.
No, I mean like all licking. They're normal. They're dogs.
But
It's
they're like-
better than having a cat on my head. I don't want no cat on my head and hairballs in my face.
What about hair just all on your sheets though? Ugh.
No.
If you can't
It's all
tell by that statement, I'm 100% against it. It is a deal breaker for me for a dog to sleep in the bed. I'll leave. I'll get up and leave.
To me, it depends on whether or not the dog is affecting how you sleep. So I used to sleep in a king-size bed, and the dog was welcome in the bed. Now, granted, I hated the sheets getting, well, the sheets never got too messed up with the dog hair, but the outside, the comforter would. So I would make sure that there was usually like an extra blanket, and I'd wash that blanket quite often to make sure that the hair didn't get too many places.
Oh, it's still everywhere.
But I will say that eventually he would wake me up in the middle of the night by moving, and so that was when it was like, okay, we're done with this. I'm allowing you only until, as long as you sleep through the entire night. Once you start moving around, and then my dog does these circles, and he'll do a circle for like 10 minutes. And that's when I was like,
Out.
and you're out. So yeah, and obviously they make really nice dog beds now. So it's not like you have to feel like you're kicking your dog to this horrible tile or wood floor.
Right.
The dog gets a plush bed that like most adults, if they're drunk, would probably fall asleep in just fine. So that's where I'm not going to be passionate one way or the other because I've done both, but I will say I sleep better now with no dog in bed.
I'm more passionate about no child in bed. That's what I'm passionate
Which I
about.
thought about that when we were talking with them, is I bet there are people like in both camps where,
Heck yeah.
of course my child should come and sleep with me if they're scared in the middle of the night, and other people like, absolutely not. Children belong in either cribs, their beds, or they can pull up a sleeping bag on the floor.
Yep.
Or like in your case, a $20 bed.
$20 little bed, man. It's just right on the floor.
Out. Get
Like,
out.
what if like in Hayes' situation, he has a 4-pound dog?
No animals. And I don't, when I used to have a dog in my house, it was not allowed in my room.
Not allowed?
They're not even in the room?
That's my space, and I don't care what you say. There is always a dog smell. Always, even if you keep your house super clean and you wash the sheets every day or something, there's always a dog smell.
So-
I haven't had a dog in my house in close to 10 years. I still find dog hair.
So who got the dog originally?
We got them together.
Did you want the dog?
Yeah, but I
So
like.
you want the dog, but you don't want him by you.
I don't.
Get away from me, dog.
My bed, yes. Everywhere else in the house, cool. Well,
Not the room,
not the
though.
couch either. No couch, no bed.
Okay, you should have gotten yourself a turtle.
What?
That's what you should have gotten yourself.
Wait, but I'm confused. Where did the dog sleep when you would go to bed? Obviously not in the
In the
bed, but
crate.
not even in the crate.
Yeah, he's
Overnight?
crate trained overnight. Very adamant about that.
That
Yeah, you
makes me
should have got
so
yourself a turtle.
sad.
A fish, a turtle, something that already lives in a cage and you never
Like
take
crate
it out.
training is good for dogs, but I
Yeah.
thought that's when everybody was gone.
Right.
I thought when they slept, they always slept like close by.
Oh no, he
They
did
loved
have
to
a dog bed after a little while, after he was a puppy. Then when he got to like a normal activity, I guess, is when we got him a dog bed, and he slept in the dog bed. No, never allowed to sleep on the bed, not allowed on the couch either.
What kind of dog was it?
It was a German Shepherd mix.
That's
Okay.
a big dog.
They're very protective, so I'm surprised the dog didn't want to be closer to, because I assume you would shut your bedroom door, the dog would sleep in the living room?
No, he knew. He knew. He sat at the door of the bedroom, and I'm like, good boy.
That's Tyler, you have a dog in bed or not?
I do have a dog.
His dog's absolutely in bed.
There, Yes, he is.
I've
Samson
seen
is,
it.
of
I've
course,
seen the
allowed in the bed.
Snapchats.
But there is a rule. He's not allowed to be under the top layer of the blankets.
Yeah, and I think
I
that's
don't like
good.
to get the dog hair on the actual sheets. He can be on the top layer of all the blankets. That's fine with me, on the surface, but don't be below the sheets at all.
I think that's perfectly normal. But
Kind of
also, you're
halfway,
single
I guess.
too, and once there is another person, and that's another thing I discovered. Once there's another
She
person,
better be okay with it.
the dog.
Oh,
I got up and
so
left.
cute.
I was dating a dude, and he wanted the dog to sleep in the bed. Nope, bye. It grosses me out that much. They're licking themselves. They don't wipe after they go to the bathroom. It's all this germs.
Seriously, get yourself
Smell.
a turtle
Good break.
My dog would be so sad if he didn't get to sleep, at least in the room.
Dream
All right,
fighters.
when we come back, we are going to talk to JU women's basketball head coach, Coach Yo. She is super successful, Coach Yolette McPhee-McCune, and she will join us live in studio next. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL. Yep, Dream Finders. Thank you. Sorry.
That was good. Not Dream
Finders.
Finders. That was a good one.
Yeah, he didn't get back to me yet, so he's about to dump that. So that's perfect.
One of my buddies, both of these things
do.
are very.
Yeah, no, I figured it did, but I was like, that's better than me not. I don't know what I'm supposed to do yet. So, where did she go?
She's in the lobby.
Oh.
I told her about 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. She's gonna come in.
No dogs in the bed.
My mom
Gross.
My mom hates dogs though. She hates all animals.
I don't. I love dogs, but
I
and the
don't
only
think
reason,
you do.
Girl, I grew up with dogs my entire life.
Yeah, but you don't want them by you.
I
and
do
you don't
want
like
them
their
by
hair,
you,
and you think they're
just
gross.
not in my personal space. My bed is my personal space.
But you have an apartment, right?
No, I have a house.
Okay.
This is
so
Donna and
your whole
Blythe.
house is your
Hi.
suite.
Hi.
Oh my gosh! Hi, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks. This is awesome.
Thank you, Tyler.
Welcome.
That I was gonna be here with the chicks.
Nice.
You know, but
You've
you're
been-
Frank Frangie.
That's right. Exactly.
You sit right behind where the media sits for the basketball game.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you hear me screaming?
Nah.
No, okay.
Did you see that guy? I mean, obviously you would have seen him.
Oh.
For the JUNF game, and he was cheering for UNF. He
In
was
the
in the
Adidas,
red.
yes. He wore the same thing at the UNF at their
okay.
place. That's
I was
his
like,
outfit.
I don't understand. Okay, dude, you're not wearing school colors, so you.
Well, at UNF, he's on the floor and he has
Yeah.
red glasses
Yeah.
to go with
Oh
it.
my I didn't understand. He's like an overweight guy, and he's in like a red tracksuit, with like sunglasses that he never took off.
All right.
And I was like, you at least wear like navy, you know? I don't know.
Is he trying to be like Jack Nicholson or something? You know.
Does he wear tracksuits?
He's like,
But he wears
really
sunglasses.
in his, like, that's his thing, you know?
Yeah.
He's in his element. He stood up the whole game.
Is he an alum?
No one knows.
No.
No one knows.
Yeah, I don't know. And you know, I worked there, so I knew a lot of the courtside seat holders. He was not one of them when I was there. So. But I wasn't there very long, so.
Interesting.
Are you still the Bahamian coach? That's
Yep,
so
for the
awesome.
national team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why the Bahamian coach?
I'm from the Bahamas.
Oh,
born and
nice.
raised.
That's awesome. What
Yep.
brought you to the States?
Basketball.
Nice.
College
Yeah.
basketball.
How often do you get back?
Twice a year.
Hell yeah.
Coach
I was
Yo, isn't Calipari the men's coach?
No, he's for the Dominican Republic.
Dominican,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just in Puerto Rico, and I noticed how they have baseball fields and basketball
Yeah.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
But I thought I expected to see a lot more soccer. Nope.
I'm
Track,
gonna come back with a clip from their quarterfinal game.
Sweet.
track,
ESPN.
swimming, basketball.
Yeah,
baseball.
in the baseball you could tell,
Yeah.
which makes sense. But yeah, the
Sure.
basketball was everywhere.
Yeah.
The food was so
I know.
good. What part of the Bahamas?
Freeport.
Oh, okay. I've been there.
Yep, I came my first time. Well, my first time, I've always come over
Alright, we got
if I
2
play AU.
Thank you.
My first time was the coach flew to the Bahamas to see me and offered me a scholarship.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the outside court.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's where I tried out.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the big differences between an outside court and an inside court? Humidity, probably.
That and on your knees,
Mm.
and but nothing if you grow up.
Yeah.
Air conditioned.
Nice.
Well, your coach was smart because
Yeah.
your coach was like, all expense paid trip to
Oh,
the
yeah,
Bahamas.
exactly. Now that I'm older, I'm like, that makes sense.
Have you found any Bahamians to recruit?
Oh, yeah, I
JU?
have one on the team.
You do?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely.
So you got to go there.
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
My favorite part, we stayed in the Abacos for 2
Oh,
weeks when I
don't
was
you love
younger.
it?
Oh my gosh.
The beach is the best.
It was awesome. I need
Mom
to go
so
back.
agrees with you. She's funny. My mom loved that conversation about dogs.
It was a heated conversation.
It's fun. But she's like, oh yeah, no kids or dogs. I'm like,
So-
see, that's where I get
No,
the
I
no
was
kids.
listening to you guys cracking up.
No kids, man. I'm sorry.
If that's my space, I don't want no dog smells. I want to relax. I want to sleep.
See, so Mav is always at the foot of the bed. We never hear Mav, never. But Olive is underneath and right on me. I'm like, all right, girlfriend, you know it's going to change in like 3 months when my belly is big. This ain't going
Thank
to work.
you. I'll go get the script after this segment and then I can do it whenever.
Okay.
I was waiting to hear what I'm supposed to do, but.
This dog conversation is getting a lot of traction.
Is it?
Getting
It's
a lot
funny.
of comments.
Most people are probably not like me, which is
Alright, here we go.
you can go both ways. Most people are probably one or the other. Oh yeah,
I did have a couple people.
Alright, Judas, make sure to stay about a fist away from the mic, alright?
Sounds good.
And as you need to adjust it.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
A 36-4 run by the Dolphins.
ESPN 3.
First half gave them a 29-point lead, and they win by 27 as the Dolphins have got the victory here in the ASUN Championship quarterfinal.
You just heard the JU women's basketball team win the quarterfinals, now headed to the semifinals, playing host to a team very familiar in the UNF Ospreys tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Swisher Gymnasium. Blythe Brumley, Donna Murphy, and Lauren Brooks alongside now head coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen, head coach of the JU Dolphins. Welcome in, Coach Yo.
Thanks for having me. I feel like, one of the super women.
Well, that you absolutely are.
There we go.
For people who don't know, success has not been a stranger to you. In all 5 years under your tenure, the Dolphins have made the ASUN women's basketball tournament.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've been fortunate to get some good players in and develop a culture that produces winners, and so, we want to just keep that momentum going, especially in March.
I mean, over 250 wins in this organization, and you account for over 90 of them. How
Right.
excited are you? Did you expect to have such an impact on this team?
Absolutely. When I took the job, there was so much that hadn't been done. And so, my mentors have always taught me, if I'm going to take a job that's quote unquote not successful, because the only way you can go is up. And I just saw the potential. The program is only 17 years old. And so when coming in, I just felt like, from the experience I had from being in the Sweet 16 to being at Power 5 conferences, the relationships I've already created, I felt like I would be able to convince people to come, to Duval and play at JU and have a lot of success, and we've done that.
You mentioned your time spent over at Clemson. What is the big difference between a program like that with that sort of notoriety and then coming to JU?
Money.
Resources.
Yeah, resort, charter flights, unlimited budgets.
Oh, wow.
All of the above. When I showed up, I'll never forget it. When I showed up at JU, I looked around and I said, "Woo, I got a lot to do." And first we're going to start with some paint. And so we started painting, and since then we've had success, and the president and my administration, I mean, they've just been phenomenal. So it's not what it was when I first got there, and it shouldn't be, obviously, when you have success.
What do you like about this year's team?
Oh, this is my favorite team, and I guess it's because of year 5. I just love them as people. You know, a lot of times coaches will talk about a team or have success and really just hate their team. I mean, I'm just being transparent, but I absolutely love my team. They want to win. They're great young women. They take care of business. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no drama. They come and they work hard every day. I'm an intense coach. I get in their face. They respond positively. And it's just really a healthy energy.
Now, it's a very young team because you only have 3 seniors.
Yeah.
So what are your expectations for this team, obviously past this season?
Well, it's always just to continue. I think we've solidified ourselves as a team in the conference that is going to have success. And so we just want to continue to bring in and recruit good players. And, you know, we've done that. And we have a couple more that we want to go and get at this after this season. And just, you know, I tell the players all the time, wins and losses will never define me, and it shouldn't define them. Like, I'm not going to want my record on my grave. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to want I want people to talk about how they had a great experience and, you know, the lessons they learned from me, my staff, and I. So that's what I want people to talk about and their experience, and want to come back and just see where the program is. And usually when it's like that, when you focus on pouring in to the individual, the wins and losses, you get more wins than losses.
Stepping back from JU a bit and just women's basketball as a whole, what do you think is the biggest challenge facing women's basketball, and how do you think you can fix it?
Yeah, I mean, I just think parity, you know, with UConn just being so dominant. Yeah.
Weren't they up like 45 to 5 or something like that last night?
I wasn't going to bring it up. He has no mercy because that's his former assistant coach too.
Of course it is.
Right. And so parity, and a lot of people want women's basketball to be where men's basketball is, but we're still 20 years behind them from when they started. You get what I'm saying? So for us, we're still growing, we're still evolving, and I think as the rules and the talent continues to increase, we will start to see the parity that the men have.
All right, you're going up against the Ospreys. Obviously, you've faced them a couple times this season.
Yeah.
What makes their team dangerous? They had to upset number 3 seeded Stetson in order to make it.
I mean, they beat the number 1 team in the conference. They beat Florida Gulf Coast as soon as they got ranked top 25. I remember at the end of our game, them beating Florida Gulf Coast, and I was like, no, because now FGCU is going to come in our gym all pissed off. And so, I mean, what makes them dangerous is they just play hard. You know, they play hard. I expect them to play with a lot of pride. It doesn't matter. I don't think, like, when you have a rivalry or in-town competition, it doesn't matter what the record is. Like, it's about pride, you know. They want to beat us. We want to beat them. It's not like a Clemson-South Carolina rivalry or a Steelers-Eagles rivalry, like when I was at Pitt. But, because the coach and I, we speak. But there's a mutual competitive nature in there.
Do you have a good relationship with Coach Gibbs? He's
I
going to join us a little bit later.
I really.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, I mean, I have a great. Listen, I just love competition and I love the game, and you know, he's always been nice to me. I mean, there's other rivalries in the conference where there's no love lost. Trust me. Florida Gulf Coast, but we don't like each other at all. But we respect each other a lot. The same with Gibbs. You know, I have a lot of respect for him, and he's done a great job, and I think he will continue to do so.
So do the ladies feel the same way? Do they have the mutual respect, but they get a little more amped up for this kind of game?
Yeah, they told me that there was some trash talking on the court that I was unaware of. So, you know, when they tell me stuff like that, I get a kick out of it. So I was like, what did they say? Oh my God, you're going to let them talk to you like, you know, so just to get some type of rivalry going. You know, for some reason people think we're not going to come out and be focused because we've had so much success about them. But to be quite honest, the game is it's really not about UNF for us. It's about the standards that we want to play with. And I'm not saying that because I'm disregarding them. I'm just telling you, I don't know that our girls are thinking much about them, but where we're trying to go and what we're trying to do this year.
This is more of a personal question, but how it seems like they make you guys wear heels while you're coaching.
Yeah.
Is that a rule, or are you allowed to wear sneakers while you're coaching?
I mean, you can wear whatever you want.
Oh, I thought it was kind of a rule.
No, it's a culture. There are coaches that wear tennis shoes, but suits. You know, you do dress up. Well, Oregon wears polos, but they're Nike, like really Nike, because they're right there.
Right.
They're the only team in the country that does that. Everyone else wears suits. It's just a culture. And yes, right after the game I take it off. I mean, that's one of the things that I do not enjoy about coaching. I remember when we won the championship, I said, oh, I'm getting ready to go buy me a pair of Louboutin shoes, and they hurt so bad. Like that's I'm never gonna buy another pair of those.
I'm glad you told me that, because I used to dream of having a pair of those.
It took me. I walked
They're
around.
They're about $600, by the way. For people who don't know.
$900. I walked around my kitchen for 2 weeks
trying to break them in.
Yes, they are so painful. And so I wear it to get a kick out of it, but as I don't walk down the stairs with them, I have my flip-flops right there. I don't care. And last year I was pregnant, so I remember if we went into overtime, the heels were coming off, baby.
Good for you, man.
It's comfort.
Good for you is right. All right, you also coach the Bahamian women's national team. What is the basketball culture like in the Bahamas and the rest of the Caribbean?
It's up and coming. You know, we have a lot of great players. Buddy Hield's in the NBA. Jonquel Jones is in the WNBA. She was a first-round draft pick. We have a young lady at Texas from the Bahamas, all over the country. I have one on my team. DeAndre Aiden, that is, you've heard his name because he was in the middle of the quote-unquote scandal at Arizona. He's from the Bahamas. Yeah, and he's probably going to go number 1 or number 2. And so one thing in the Bahamas, like the athleticism is at an all-time high, because we grow up, we walk outside barefoot, we play outside, we're tough, we don't know what it's like to have a trainer or anything like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's island style. And so you put some skill with that, it can be scary. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's up and coming for sure.
Well, you have your big matchup tomorrow night, so tell us, what do you expect? We all know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
I expect us to come out and do what we do. We defend at a high level. We're number 1. We're the number 1 defensive team in the conference. We're top 25 defensively in the country. We rebound. We have a young lady that has 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds.
Kayla Gordon.
Yeah, at 5'10". And so she's a beast. You know, our girls will be excited to play, and you know, it doesn't matter who we play. We want to dominate. So, you know, that's the intent tomorrow for sure.
What's the best moment of your coaching career?
Wow. You know, the best moment, I would think it would be, I have two. One, when we won the championship on Florida Gulf Coast. I mean,
it all comes back to
right with the birth of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I mean,
how could that not be?
It had never, and they hadn't lost in 7 years. I mean, it was. I remember I fell on my knees and
probably because your feet hurt.
Yeah,
so much.
well, yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. But when you see the picture, like, you can't see me because I'm on the floor and everyone's on top of me. I think that one, and then. You know, just seeing our young ladies have success after the air comes out. You know, just knowing that we have 3 players overseas playing professionally. One is a doctor. You know, one has her own business. One is a chef. You know, we right now Kayla Gordon is a biochemist major.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's getting ready to go pro, but after that, she's going to finish physical therapy school. You know, just seeing them, that's what it's about, to teach, develop, and inspire. And I truly believe that this is my ministry. This is a way for me to pour in to young people and just, you know, produce, God knows we need it. Just better citizens out there. And so I'm responsible for 14 of them, and that is my goal.
Absolutely. Has the chef cooked you any meals?
She has. She was always creative like that. She's in New York right now.
Wow.
Yeah, she does stuff in the Poconos and stuff like that. So she's had success, and I think she said she wants to come back where it's a little warmer.
JU needs to hire her.
Yeah. Apparently, she just put in her stuff at JU, so I'm sure that JU takes care of their own. So
absolutely,
yeah, looking forward to it.
Coach Yo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You were awesome.
Tomorrow, 7 o'clock.
Swisher Gym.
The Swisher. If you hadn't been there, the Swisher Gymnasium. I'll be there. Everyone will be there. Please come out and support us. We would really appreciate it. Our ladies deserve it, not only because they can hoop, but they're in the community and they work so hard. It would mean a lot to us.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
7 p.m. tomorrow night on JU's campus. It's
absolutely.
It's a small but raucous gym.
Oh yeah,
so
You get 100 people in there and it's jumping.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we average about 500, so it'll be fun.
That will be fun. And in general, if you got nothing going on tomorrow night, support the city and certainly support women in athletics at JU at 7 p.m. Coach Yo, thanks so much for joining us. When we come back, we're going to get into golf attire and Japanese steakhouse etiquette and a whole lot more, as well as annoying TV shows. That's next, right here on Helmets and Heels, built by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
1010XL.
Good luck tomorrow night.
That was awesome.
Really, what
Great
I wanted
stories.
to say, we're getting ready to kick their
That's what you should have said.
Well, I don't want to poke the bear. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whatever. I'm
Because
playing.
then
the bulletin board
But
material.
I want you to know, we're kicking ass tomorrow night.
I know
We're not playing around with it.
I know their program. You will.
Oh yeah, thanks so much.
Thank
I
you
really
so much.
appreciate it. Can we take a photo?
Yes,
Tyler. We need you to take our picture pretty
For my
please.
social media.
Sure. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Like I have
You can be in it. You
I
have
have
a
a blue check, guys.
You got a blue check?
Yeah, I got a blue check,
She's
so I'm certified.
She's important and you're not.
Oh, are there mics in the way?
Let's get the logo in the background here. All right. 3, 2. Let's get closer. 3, 2, 1. Do one more. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you so
There we
much.
go.
I know.
Most people probably would have been excited about the doctor. As a foodie, I wanted to know about the chef.
I know when you said that, I was like, she does throw down. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, I have 2 girls, so
So
I
this
have.
was your second girl?
I have a 9-month-old.
Oh, wow.
She's a
Congratulations.
chump, and I have a 5-year-old.
That's
and
awesome.
so
How
the
do
5-year-old's
you
a
manage
cheerleader.
everything? You must have an amazing
My husband.
Yeah.
He's the real MVP, seriously. And my daughter's honorary cheerleader, and
That's awesome.
they love it. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a lot of work though.
Yeah. Does the 9-month-old come and hang out?
Oh yeah, she
Okay.
knows her first like motor activity was this.
Nice.
Because she got
Perfect.
so she just hold up, I gotta show you this. She does a little.
That's a lot different than mine. I said
Oh, yeah.
shit the first time I was
Oh,
watching
my
basketball with my dad.
Right, and I'm a coach's kid, so look, so this was, look at her, she's with that.
She realized what she did.
Dad's like, I can't be bothered.
He swears it was a timeout, but yeah, that's my truth. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
You have to come on
Yeah,
again.
for sure. And I listen
once
all
the
the time. It's
season's
pretty
over.
cool. Yeah, get me in. We'll talk.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. See ya.
No problem. I'll spot you out. I press the button. I'll walk you out.
She was awesome.
She's fantastic.
We got to get her on again.
Yeah. I asked my mom, so you want to babysit Matt for us? She goes, sure, but he won't be on my bed.
That's right. I started. At least 2 people have sent me photos of their dogs sleeping in the bed.
Oh, yeah.
Gross.
Now, I will tell you this, ever since Olive started sleeping in the bed, and because she goes underneath, I have started wearing underwear. That's for sure.
Oh, underneath.
Because I'm like, I don't want anything to touching anything.
What
so.
about, see, to me, like, what is the weirdest thing is, like, when, if somebody expects, like, nasty time with the dog in the bed.
About you're coming back.
What?
Oh,
golf attire.
Yeah.
And hibachi tables.
Yep. Well, we have to, Mav understands. Mav goes underneath the bed and he gets it. Olive has to go in her crate. Don't get it.
They understand. That's awesome.
Mav gets it.
At least
like,
you're
yeah,
not one of those freaks that leaves the dog in the room.
Well, Mav's under the bed, so he don't,
I'm getting so many dog pictures. I don't care that your dogs sleep in the bed. It's not happening in my house.
She cares. She loves it. I should tweet you mine. I don't even know if I have one. Now I gotta look at my gallery. See if I do.
Back here in a minute.
Let's see. I do. All right. Where's everybody sending them to you?
On my feed, I've posted the link, so just check the replies on it because my God, I'm getting all the dog pictures.
I'm gonna send you mine.
In bed?
Yes.
I'm gonna send her mine.
That's really funny. Isn't she an amazing woman?
Oh, she was awesome.
Yeah, she was great.
You would have she never even once mentioned oh, by the way, I have led this team to do things no one else has done, and I have a 9-month-old at home.
Yeah,
right.
Should have asked her about balancing it all.
When I didn't realize that she had one that young.
9 months old.
All right, back here in 30.
Thank
Clip
you.
from Michelle Lee's win.
Oh, and she said one of her JU players wants to potentially get into a career like this, so I told her to come sit with us whenever.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're only on Facebook right now, aren't you?
No, YouTube. But I posted it
Thank
to
you.
Twitter. That's where the replies are.
I don't see it on your guys, girl?
No, on my person.
Oh.
Oh shoot, I probably should share it there too.
That's why. Let me look under blank.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
On 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Michelle Wee won for the first time in a while. Kind of similar to Lefty. Phil Mickelson won for the first time in a while. But this conversation is not about the actual performance on the golf course. My good friend and colleague, we share a cubicle wall together, Jack O'Brien, said the other day that Michelle Wee was practically not wearing anything when she won. So I immediately did a quick Google search and found that she was wearing a long sleeve undershirt, a polo on top, a golf skirt, and golf shoes. And I thought, wow, just because she's showing her legs, we're going to say that she's not wearing anything? I understand that guys in the golf profession wear pants, almost never shorts, but females don't necessarily have to abide by those rules. Am I the one who's crazy on this? Is she showing too much leg?
No, well, she's a tall drink of water.
6'1".
Yeah.
6'1".
She's very thin.
She's got a lot of legs.
Yeah. So a regular skirt on us is a surefire mini skirt on her, but this is what they make for women to wear golf. So Jacko should know this as he plays golf and heads our Guggen Open every year. So he knows what the women out there wear and have available to them. And it's mainly the skirts, but it's shorts underneath.
Yeah, it's a skirt.
Yeah.
Why would you wear pants when you can wear a golf skirt?
And I feel like a lot of guys, if it was socially acceptable for them to wear a skirt on the golf course, they absolutely would.
Like we've seen Dustin Johnson's wife,
Paulina Gretzky.
wear way worse items than what this is.
I expected the golf skirt, but then I expected her to be wearing either a tank top or something that
Long
like bathing
sleeves.
suits do now, where you do like the strapless with the short and off the shoulder kind of sleeve.
Like a peekaboo.
Something like that, like, or a halter top, or maybe I thought she was even in like a sports bra. I mean, I was expecting something scandalous, and the fact she's in even long sleeve, I thought, why is there this criticism? And it wasn't so much criticism, I guess, as it was, he was almost like flabbergasted. And it made me think, I wonder if guys are being pushed to a point now with all of this sexual assault, the Me Too movement, all of that, if they are now almost terrified to even look at a part of a woman's body without going, oh my gosh, I'm not allowed to see that. What if I say something and then I'm going to get in trouble? Is that where we're arriving?
I mean, I would hope. I think any sensible person can make an assumption on someone's athletic competition. I just think it's a little sad that she hits this miraculous like 40-foot putt to win her first championship in 4 years, and this is what we're talking about. Like this woman has come for careers ups and downs and injuries and all these high expectations, and now she's finally won for the first time in 4 years, and we're talking about her outfit.
Well,
it's like,
I wasn't going to, but it was funny because as soon as he said it, I thought, oh wow, that's kind of a good topic for us. And then I was like, nah, that's kind of too much of stuff we've discussed in the past. And he goes, you should talk about this. And
why was that the first? I wonder why that was the first thing he focused on.
I don't know, because we were talking about Phil Mickelson, and then all of a sudden I said, yeah, and Michelle Wee too. And then he was like, did you see what she was wearing? I mean, she may as well not have been wearing anything. Are you kidding me?
I didn't think there was anything wrong with what she was wearing.
Like, next to navel, she couldn't have been more covered up.
Right.
Anywho, speaking of etiquette, I guess what you wear on the golf course can be considered etiquette.
Yes.
When you go to a Japanese steakhouse, if you choose to sit at hibachi tables, if you don't have the exact number of people at the table, if you have less, then often you will end up sharing with people. Or if you have, I guess, too many and you have an overflow, you'll end up being the people who share with other people. Do you talk to the people that are at your table?
We haven't sat at a hibachi table in a long time.
Why, you want to keep your eyebrows?
No, with little man, we haven't brought him there yet. And
he'd love it.
I think he would love it now. Yeah. He eats more now, so yes. More than just chicken fingers. So I would say it all depends. Like, are they a bunch of rowdy teenagers? I'm not talking to them. You know,
it's a vibe.
It's a vibe. It's all about that. I mean, if you got kids together, that's great. You can share it's the first time, that's great. But I mean, becoming best friends with your hibachi mates? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying. Whoever I'm there with, luckily I haven't had to experience this in a while, because anytime we go to Wasabi's, I actually went there on Sunday night for my mom's birthday. But anytime we go there, our family is so large that we take up the entire table. So we never have to deal with that situation. But I think it's more of a vibe that if you're sitting down at the table, like whoever you're there with, you're there to talk to them. I'm not there to have a conversation. I mean, you make friendly small talk at first, you feel it out, but I'm not there to talk to strangers. I'm there to talk to whoever I'm with.
Right. So we went recently, there was 4 of us, and then these other 2 people sat down, these 2 guys, and we were, of course, just chit-chatting amongst ourselves, as people do. And then these people, at first it was polite, hey, how are y'all doing? Okay, that's fine. But then it was like, oh, so do you come here often? Not that they were trying to pick us up, it was 2 couples, but, do you come here a lot? Oh, what's your favorite thing? Oh, have you tried this? Oh, yeah, I read on this food blog, and it was like constant, to the point where now we're kind of looking at each other like, no. We are here together. Not that we're not trying to be rude, but we were actually in a conversation that we cared about, and you're someone we don't know, and you have another person to converse with, and if you're annoyed at each other, I don't really care. Just don't talk to us and interrupt kind of our evening. And I didn't know if that was me being rude, like you're supposed to, kind of chat with these people, like, are you obligated to chit chat with them? But when they don't shut up, then what do you do?
Just one-word answers. Hopefully they get the point.
So eventually 3 of us just kind of stopped interacting, and the poor one person that was the closest to them had to continue the conversation.
That person will never sit there again.
But I was like, I need to bring this up because I feel like we need to educate maybe some people who go to hibachis with just each other, and they're almost bored with each other and they're looking for conversation. No, that is not where you get the conversation. Maybe go to the park, Sit on a park bench?
Or sit at the bar. Don't sit at the hibachi table.
That's an absolutely great idea. Although most people, when they go to a Japanese steakhouse, if they are not getting sushi, then they want the full experience.
We actually didn't. Like, TJ and I, if we would do date night, we would do it at Wasabi's, and we would sit in the bar area at a small little bar table. We're like, yeah, we don't want to deal with.
Because I remember,
I don't need the whole show.
Here's the volcano. The show can get.
Do you want to catch the rice? No, actually, don't. Just put the rice on my plate. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, at times, like, we've been before with a big group of girls, and we only see each other once a month usually. So it's just constant chit chat. And the guy's trying to get, your attention, and you're just kind of like, oh yeah, I appreciate you cooking for me, but I'm really like locked into this story about her 2-year-old and what he just did. Right. So, but I just was wondering, and so I'm glad that I am not alone on this. Like, you keep to yourself, and I'm going to continue my conversation.
There are a few places that are starting with the more community tables, and I'm not sure how to 100% feel about it, because I remember when Hoptinger first opened, my brother and I wanted to check it out, and we went in, and they said, oh, well, we have community tables. And I'm thinking like one big, large table that everybody sits at. You can sort of have a couple seats between you or whatnot. And they sat us down at a foretop with 2 other people that were already sitting there. And it was so awkward that we had to talk to these people, and they were luckily they were just finishing up their meal, and so we didn't have to make it super awkward. But the sitting at a foretop together, no thank you.
You got to kind of treat it like as if you're eating at cheesecake. And you know how they have all their separate tables, but they're right next to each other. Like, I know I'm sitting right next to you, and we could possibly turn to each other and have a conversation, but that's your own table. This is my table. I'm not here with you. Yeah.
Just bring headphones or something.
We went to a fantastic place, North Beach Fish Camp, a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately for us, like, we sat at a 2-top, that was fine. There was people next to us, pretty close, but whatever. They were talking to each other. But there was a guy at a larger table next to us, and he screamed the whole night. And like,
screaming at what?
Talking to his friends. And the restaurant can be loud, which that part's fine. We could hear each other fine. But this guy, just the way that he talked, he was screaming. And I didn't know, like, can I say something to the manager about this guy? Like, he's ruining my experience.
Yeah, you could have said, I need a new table.
I could have, but it was so busy that there weren't, because that place is always packed, which I love that place. And my dinner was fantastic. Nothing against it. But I really didn't know how to handle Screamer Guy. And we kept, looking over. Other tables were looking over. Like, guy, shouldn't you get the hint? And so I was telling Frank this story, and he goes, oh, I described the guy to him, which I won't do now. And he goes, oh, I know that guy. He works out at my gym. And this is how he talks to you. Hey, how you doing? And Frank's always like, yeah, I'm fine, whatever. And he goes, 62, ripped. How do you think I'm doing? I was like, that's exactly the attitude of that person. Like, I'm great. Hear my voice. And yeah, it ruined the night. But I will go back, and then everything will be just fine. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about
Dreamfinders.
We're going to talk to the women's basketball coach, head coach of UNF, and we're going to get into a little bit more combine talk. That's all next. Listen to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Football starts.
Sorry, I didn't get it because I walked her out.
Okay.
It's my fault.
One last time.
Now I'm going to get it.
Okay. I'm going to go work on an app.
You have fun with that.
It's going to pay me a lot of money, so I'm kind of excited about it. Good. Well, thank you guys for tuning in tonight on Helmets and Heels. I got to cut out here a little bit early, so if you want to listen to the rest of the show, you can listen on 1010XL.com via their app, or if you're local here in Jacksonville, you can just turn it to 92.5 or 1010 on the AM dial. Y'all have a good night, and go Jags!